If you're past 59 and still working, even though you got enough saved to leave right now, you're walking straight into a trap that could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars and the best years of your life. And honestly, somebody needs to tell you the truth about this. And look, I get it. You've done the work, right? You've saved up, you've run the numbers 1,000 times, and deep down, you know that you got enough to just walk away. But you're still sitting there at the desk thinking that you need just one more year to feel safe. And man, while you're sitting there staring at those spreadsheets all day, your body's aging in ways that you just can't reverse. Like, you can't get this time back. And your grandkids, they're growing up without really knowing you. They're not going to remember the extra money that you made. They're going to remember that you weren't there. And the government, they set up this whole financial trap that nobody talks about. But here's the thing that actually changes everything. And I'm about to show you exactly why most people wait. Like, they wait and they wait. They end up with the biggest regret of their lives. So I'm Jason. I actually retired at 39. My wife and I, we retired like 9 years ago with about $1 million. And right now we're spending the winter in Southeast Asia. And right now we're actually in Phnom Penh, Cambodia for the month. We're able to travel like this because we figured out something at 39 that most people don't figure out until it's way, way too late. And by then, honestly, it doesn't even matter anymore. So if you're 59 and still grinding away at a job, this is for you. Because I'm not here to tell you to work harder or to save more money or any of that typical stuff that you already heard a million times. I'm here to tell you what nobody actually talks about. And it might be the most important financial decision that you never knew that you had to make. So let me tell you about my old coworker, Joe. So Joe was this kind of guy who had it all figured out, you know? Good job, solid company, good benefits, the whole thing. And Joe was always this guy who said, just one more year, just one more year. He was so close to retirement, right? But then the stock market would dip a little bit, or the company would announce some new project, and he'd find a reason to stay. And he'd be like, oh, I should probably stick around for this. So Joe just kept working and working and working, year after year after year. By the time Joe hit 56, he had a decent nest egg. Not rich or anything, but he was comfortable, you know? Like, he totally could have done it. He told me he was going to retire at 62 and finally do all these things that he'd been putting off for his whole life. He was going to travel, like really travel, not just a week here and there. He was going to spend real time with his grandkids so I could still actually get down on the floor and play with them, you know? He talked about hiking. It was something that he absolutely loved before work just took everything. Like, he used to lighten up when he talked about being out on the trails. But here's where Joe's story gets real. And this is why I'm telling you this. At 60, his company restructured. And just like that, no warning. No loyalty bonus for being there 25 years, showing up every single day, being the reliable guy, doing everything right. Just severance that was less than 3 months of his salary. And boom, he was out, gone. Like, all those years meant nothing. And what's even sadder, instead of just retiring, Joe decided that he wanted to find another job. Well, he quickly realized that nobody actually wants to hire a 60-year-old when they can hire someone a lot younger who will stick around a lot longer. It costs them a lot less. So Joe ended up taking this contract gig that was actually way worse paying than his old job, just to keep some income coming in. And here's the thing that really broke my heart about Joe's situation. He spent 6 years, 6 whole years, beyond when he could have left work. And it didn't even matter. All that sacrifice, all that extra time for nothing. The security that he was chasing, it didn't exist. It was never real. His company didn't care about his loyalty. They cared about their bottom line. That's it. Real quick though, if you want to understand how to escape this trap, I went from trading my life away for a paycheck to living on my own terms with $1 million and the world is my office by 39. If you want the same freedom, subscribe to this channel now. I break down the exact strategies that actually work and the brutal reality of what early retirement demands from you. Because you need both to escape the trap and actually stay free. All right, so let me be straight with you about what working past 59 actually costs. It's not just the money, it's your body, man. Your body doesn't care about your 401k balance. It doesn't care about compound interest or any of that stuff. It cares about time. And after 60, things start changing in ways that nobody warned you about. Like, Nobody sits down and says, hey, this is what's coming. I was fortunate enough to learn this by watching other people like Joe. Your muscles start disappearing, your energy shifts. Stuff that was easy at 50, like no problem easy, becomes impossible at 65. I'm talking about rock climbing, backpacking, playing rough with the grandkids, getting down on the floor and actually wrestling with them. These aren't luxuries, you know? These are the experiences that make life feel worth living. This is the stuff that you're working for, right? When I was up here at the rooftop pool yesterday, just watching families swimming together, I kept thinking about Joe. And by the time Joe finally did retire at 63, his health had changed. Like, he wasn't the same guy. He couldn't do the hikes that he dreamed about for years, the ones he talked about constantly at work. His back was shot from all those years of sitting in that office chair, hunched over a computer. The grandkids, they were teenagers now. They didn't want to hang out with old grandpa like they did when they were little. You know how teenagers are. Time had just slipped away while Joe was building a bigger nest egg that he might not even ever touch. And honestly, he probably won't. And here's what nobody tells you about working into your 60s. The government has built the system that actually punishes you for it. Like, they designed it to be this way. You think working longer means more money? Oh, not necessarily. Actually, it means more taxes. It means mandatory withdrawals that push you into higher tax brackets. It means Social Security games that potentially cost you more than the extra money that you're even making. The system is rigged to make you think that you need to keep working when the math, like the actual math, says you could be losing money by staying. Okay, so hang with me, because in just a second, I'm going to show you something that most financial advisors won't even touch. And it's the real reason why Joe should have left years earlier. So stick around for that. So think about this for a second, okay? Every single day you sit at that desk, your body's aging, but your bank account is barely moving. Like, maybe it's going up a tiny bit, but not enough. You're trading weeks of your life for what, hundreds of dollars? That's not a deal. That's a disaster. But your brain doesn't see it that way, right? Your brain sees that paycheck and thinks, security. Your brain sees your identity all wrapped up in your job and thinks, well, that's who I am. I'm a manager. I'm a director. I'm whatever. Your brain invents reasons to stay because change is scary. Oh, our brains are wired to avoid risk, even when staying is actually the bigger risk. So here's what I want to know, and I want you to actually think about this seriously for a second. If you knew for certain, like 100% certain, that your company was going to lay you off in 2 years, would you still be at that job right now? Because the truth is, about half of people over 60 get laid off before they even choose to retire. Half. Joe didn't think it would happen to him either. He thought he was safe. So comment down below and tell me, what's really keeping you at your job? Is it the money, or is it something else? Like, is it fear? Is it identity? What is it really? The hardest part of Joe's story, and this is what really bothers me about this whole thing, like, I think about this a lot because I think that a lot of you watching may be in the same situation. It's that he had enough money to leave at 56. He actually did. He sat down, did the math with his wife, and they figured out that they could live on what they had. Like, the numbers worked, but the fear kept him there. 1 more year became 2 more years, became 6 more years. And by the time he actually retired, the best years of his retirement were already behind him. His grandkids grew up. His health declined. His wife got tired of waiting. And that's heartbreaking. Working past 59, you don't have to. It's like keeping your unopened Christmas present under the tree for another year. Like, what's the point? I mean, the joy has an expiration date. Your health has an expiration date. Your relationship with your grandkids has an expiration date too. Your ability to travel without needing a walker or worrying about medications or all that stuff, that has an expiration date. Everything expires. And look, I totally understand the fear. I really do. I was scared too when I walked away at 39. I had $1 million and I was terrified that it wasn't enough. Like, I was losing sleep over it. But here's what I learned that Joe never got to experience. The fear doesn't actually come from not having enough money. The fear comes from not trusting yourself to handle freedom. Like, can you actually do this? Can you figure it out? And that's the one thing I want you to really hear, you know? Freedom is actually easier than you think. It's way, way less expensive than your job is making you believe right now. Look, if you're sitting at home right now watching this, and you're past 59, and you're staying in that job because you're scared, I get it. I totally do. But I also know what it feels like to actually retire and realize that you were going to be fine all along. Like all that worry was for nothing. I know what it feels like to wake up without an alarm, to travel when you want, not when your boss approves your vacation days, to spend time with people that you actually love instead of people that your company forces you to be around for 8, 10 hours a day. And Joe never got that. Joe spent his last good years, like the years where he still had the energy, where he still had his health, chasing security that disappeared the moment that his company didn't need him anymore. And his wife had to watch that happen. She had to watch him sacrifice their time together for nothing. His grandkids had to grow up without him really being there. And his body paid the price. The money he saved, he's actually spending it slower now in retirement because he can't do all the things that he wanted to do earlier. He can't hike, he can't travel like he wanted to. He's just sitting there. Here's what I want you to understand. Your life doesn't get better after 65. It doesn't magically become more fulfilling or anything like that. If you're miserable at 59, you're going to be more miserable at 65 because your options will be fewer. Your energy will be lower, your health might be compromised, like actually compromised in ways that you can't fix. And the version of retirement that looks amazing in your head right now, it only works if you actually retire while you can still live it, while you can still do those things. I'm here in Cambodia right now because we made the choice to live while we could. We're not the richest people in the world or anything. We have a bit over $1 million. That's it. That's like not some crazy amount, but we're living like people with $10 million in experiences because we're doing it while our bodies still work and while we still want to explore and try new things. And that's the real gift of leaving early. It's not about having more money, it's about having more time. Time is the currency that you actually spend every single day. And once it's gone, man, no amount of money brings it back. You can't buy back time. You can't buy back your health. You can't buy back those years with your grandkids when they were little. So here's my honest advice to you if you're working past 59. Stop waiting for permission to leave. Stop waiting for the magic number that's going to make you feel safe. Stop waiting for one more year, one more bonus, one more whatever. Your body's not going to wait. Your grandkids aren't going to wait. Life is not going to wait for you to feel ready. Calculate what you actually need. Talk to someone who can help you understand your numbers, like really understand them, and then have the courage to leave. Don't be like Joe. Don't spend 5 extra years chasing security that doesn't exist. And then realize that you traded your best years for nothing. Retirement isn't something that happens to you, you know? It's not like this thing that just shows up one day. It's something that you choose. And the sooner that you choose it, the sooner you actually get to live. Want more retirement insights? Watch this next. I'll see you in the next one.